Bob Kravitz broke this story on his television station in Indianapolis, WTHR. You're new to the station over there, huh?
Yeah, I worked for the Indianapolis Star for 14 years and just zipped over to WTHR, correct?
So you must be a hero there right now.
Well, they're pretty pleased with all the web hits, I have to say that. But,
I bet.
It's a lot of attention, but that's not what I was shooting for. I've been doing this for 34 years. I don't need to make a name for myself, but I had a very trusted source who's never led me astray before, and I decided to report what I was hearing.
So at what point on Sunday night during the game, or was it after the game, that you first heard about this from your source?
Let me just turn my phone out there. I got a text about 10:30, but I was down in the locker room working the Colts locker room, and then I had to do TV from 11 to 12. So I got up to the press box about 12:15, and I called back my source. I finally reached him about 12:30, and I don't remember the exact timeline, guys, but around 12:45.
But it was definitely not during the game. It was after the game.
It was after the game, correct. Yeah, and about 12:45, I sent out the tweet, and then kind of watched Twitter explode.
So is your source a player, or is it somebody in the front office?
Come on, I'm not going to.
He can't say.
What are you, crazy?
All right, so you find out that the balls may have been underinflated.
No, what I found out was that there was going to be an investigation by the National Football League that the balls were underinflated. I had no personal knowledge that they were underinflated. I don't go down on the field and check all the balls, squeeze them all to make sure. I'm more concerned with the lobster roll at halftime.
So Bob, when they say 11 out of the 12 were underinflated, does that mean that the 12th was possibly the game ball that was kept by that?
DeQuell Jackson, didn't he keep one of them?
Or was one of them fine?
They said 11 out of 12. I want to know if somebody's going to get fired for not deflating that 12th one. That's what I'm concerned about. That poor guy may be out of a job.
Well, or was it kept overinflated for the kicker?
No. There's separate balls for the kicker.
Okay.
The kickers have what they call K balls, and those are a completely separate entity from the regular balls they put in play for the rest of the guys.
Now, interesting also, Aaron Rodgers coming out and saying that he thinks it's kind of silly, the whole rule, because he likes his balls overinflated.
Why am I giggling like a school child?
I know. The same with Loren. This whole
you're not. Come on. All of you are. Don't blame me.
Everyone's thinking of
it. What the league needs to do is make sure, and they do this. There's a process. If the ball is highly inflated, what needs to be made, they need to make sure of is that it's within the specifications of the National Football League.
All right, well, let's do this.
Nobody has accused them yet of using a ball that's too highly inflated.
Well, what do you think should happen here?
I'll tell you two things that neither one. You guys are in Boston, correct?
We are.
Okay. I'll tell you two things that are very unpopular in Boston, and I'm writing this column now. I think one of two things should happen. I think if Robert Kraft has as much integrity as I think that he does, if it turns out that, in fact, Bill Belichick was behind this, I think he should fire Bill Belichick.
Wow.
If that does not happen, I believe that Roger Goodell should not only fine the team and Belichick and take away a draft choice, but should suspend him for the Super Bowl. That is my belief.
Now, but here's my question to you, back to you in response to that. The Patriots hand over these balls. I mean, this happens, 2 hours and 15 minutes before every game. Then at that point, the referees are in control of the balls. The referees...
Not completely. The ball boys are largely in control of the footballs on the sideline.
But isn't it the referee's responsibility to make sure that those balls are not tampered with?
That it is, and
so the referees have failed.
Somewhere along the line, somebody didn't do their job. But to me, if the officials fail to recognize this, then bad on them. But the bottom line is,
isn't that the same as the officials failing to recognize a holding call?
It's worse than them failing to recognize a holding call. It's far worse. This goes to the very integrity of the game. And that's a real issue, and that's why I think that Kraft or Goodell have to do something very, very serious in order to make, because again, we're talking about a repeat offender here. This is not the first time that Bill Belichick has messed with the integrity of the game. You know, you can say what you want about Spygate, but it is what it is. And
it is what it is.
You know, it is what it is. I mean, there's just, you know, there's no dancing around that.
Now, Bob, let me ask this question, because I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm not even a Patriots fan, so I can ask this question. Now, what about because they found out about this about midway through the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did they give properly inflated game balls to play for the rest of the game?
That I do not know the answer to.
So I'm saying if that's the case, it didn't really help out the Colts too much because they only scored in the first half.
Let's get this straight right now. The Colts got their asses kicked, and they could have used a hockey puck or a badminton puck, and it would have made no difference. I was joking around with Pat McAfee last night, their punter. He said, "Does this mean we get to go to the Super Bowl instead?" I said, "Or does this mean we get to play the game again?" I said, "You don't want that because next time it'll be 52-3." Okay, the Patriots are that much better than the Colts, and nobody is suggesting, nobody with a functional cerebellum is suggesting that these footballs had any impact whatsoever on the outcome of the game. So let's make that very clear.
How do you investigate this? How does the NFL investigate this? If I'm the Patriots and let's say we're guilty, I'm like, dude, to the ball boy, get down there and get air in those balls right now and make sure that when the NFL comes looking, that we're okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you investigate it. I don't know if they take all the footballs after the game and put them in quarantine or something.
And even if they do, can a football lose some air over the course of a couple of days?
Here's how they test it. They get the Charmin guy.
Yeah,
have him squeeze it.
No, not to my knowledge. You know, a football will lose a little bit of its density, from what I understand, talking to a person who actually took physics and passed it, which is not the case for me, that if it's extraordinarily cold, it can lose a little bit of air, a little bit of density. If you've ever tried to bounce a basketball outside when it's really cold, you know it doesn't bounce real well. But it was 50 degrees at game time, guys.
I mean,
that wasn't the issue.
I feel like though, short of video evidence or an admission, how are you ever going to prove this?
It's going to be very, very difficult. But the fact of the matter is they have 11 out of those 12 balls in their ownership. And they were all not only mildly deflated, they were significantly deflated.
So do you believe Bill Belichick was behind this?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So do you think he obviously didn't do it himself? You think he ordered the ball boys to all do this?
Yeah, code red.
Code red.
Come get me,
Code
Bob.
red.
Come get me.
Absolutely. Do you seriously, as I mentioned to another radio station, maybe I said to you earlier, these are all running together, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself. But do you really believe that some 21-year-old ball boy or ball girl unilaterally said, I think I can really help my team out if I just deflate all these footballs?
They love proactive people.
I mean, that's absurd. Even by Patriot fan standards, that is absurd.
Hey, Bob Kravitz from WTHR TV. Nice scoop, buddy. That's a good one.
Thank you, man.
That's a good one. Thanks for joining
Thank
the
you
show
so
today.
much.
Appreciate it. All right, thank you.